Hi, this is Monica from Unique Designs by Monica, and today we're going to be working on sports balls: tennis, baseball, basketball, and of course the great bowling ball. Now, all of these have a lot in common. Actually, if we start with this particular one, can end up with the basketball and the baseball. However, for the bowling ball, it's completely different. So that one I'm going to do first. Considering these three are very similar, I'm going to move them to the side and start with the bowling ball first. So I'm going to start it right there. All right, let's grab ourselves a circle. Now, you may have seen this about 6 years ago. I did it on Cricut. It took me a little bit of finagling since their buttons were a little bit different, but with the silhouette it'll be a little easier, honestly. So there is no rhyme or reason, no size. I'm just picking a circle at random, and I'm gonna turn it black. Now we're gonna, oh, I duplicated it, sorry, take that out there. I was trying to reach for the select tool. Okay, now we're going to just cut and paste. And we're going to turn this a different color. We're going to take it and make it gray. Uh, this gray? Yeah, this gray. So all I'm going to do is just duplicate this again and do a little crescent. You can be as big or as small as you want it. I like it around about there. Okay? I'm going to select both of these, and then I'm going to go over to the modified panel, and oh, I don't want to crop it out. That gives me a different result. I want to, let's see, do I want to subtract it or divide it? I want to subtract. By subtracting, it basically becomes like a cookie cutter. It just cut this out. And all I'm going to do is place it right here. Now, as much as you know, seeing all my videos here, I don't like lines, so I'm going to go over here to my line box tool and then remove it. It looks a lot better, a lot sleeker. Now, I'm going to use the black orb that I have already made, and I'm going to duplicate this. And all I'm going to do is just make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to take that same gray. Oop, not the line. I don't want the line. I have to go to the little palette here, the fill panel, and then use the gray. And then duplicate, duplicate. Now, that's great. It looks like more of a coconut. We need to make the holes a little smaller. So I'm just selecting all of them and scrunching them down just a little bit. That's it. You're done. You're done with your bowling ball. And since I like this one a little bit better, I'm going to group, and I'm going to set that aside. Now, everything starts with a tennis ball. The tennis ball, you can actually start making the basketball and the baseball. So let's get started with that. And primarily, all we're using for these shapes is circles. Circles and maybe a couple of rectangles, but primarily circles. So I'm just going to do this again. I'm going to put this to the side. This is going to be our reference. And I'm going to make a circle. Again, no rhyme, no reason, just selecting one size. I'm just holding down the shift key, and this is the size that I got. I like the color that's going on over here, so let's start with a yellow. That's pretty good. Now we're going to cut and paste and make this green. Okay, these are the two colors that we're going to be working with. But just on the off chance I make a mistake, let's just set these aside over here, because these are exactly the same size and I don't want to mess with my sizes. Alright, so we're going to get yet another circle. And very much like we did over here, we are going to create our line. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Okay. And we're going to go over here and select. Good, 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 good. Now you're thinking, well, that looks more of a crescent. Yes, yes, it does. So what I'm going to do, oh, you know what? I did it. I made a mistake. I was thinking of something else. My apologies. I'm going to get my circle, and I needed to get the exact same size because once I looked at it, I'm like, this looks different from when I did it last time. And I remember why. I went over to the little star shape tool right over here, and I went instead of going outside making an offset, I went inward. And this looks a little too small, so let's make it the right size. Yeah, that's what I did different. All right, I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to make a compound path. That's what I did last time. It's been a while. It's been a while. So let's make this black so we know what we're doing. And this little guy right here is going to be the offset for everything else. Okay. So we're going to go over here and just duplicate this because we're going to use this over and over again. Now let's just take the green and we're going to put this, let's say right about there. I want to make sure this is in the middle. Good. And then I'm going to use this little star replicate tool. It kind of looks like a outline of several like ovals overlapping. That's what it reminds me of. And it's called the replicant tool. I'm going to push downward, and all I'm going to do is go about that far. There's no rhyme or reason. I just think this looks pretty good. Let's just see if we can move this a little further down, a little further up. And I use this area over here, so if I make a duplicate, it goes straight down, or to the left, or to the right, but it's even with everything else. Okay, enough rambling. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to group it. Now I'm going to select everything and go back to this little outline tool, this modified panel, and subtract. And you're thinking, it didn't do anything. It did, kind of like a cookie cutter. All right. Now that that's done, I don't need these two anymore. And I'm going to select both of these and make them go to the middle. Ta-da! You have officially made yourself a tennis ball. And of course I'm going to remove the lines because I don't like seeing them. So that's the new ball right there. And I'm going to move that right over here. Okay, now that we have that going on for ourselves, let's do the basketball over here. No rhyme or reason, I'm just going to select a circle. And I'm going to give it a nice orange color. This is the orange color that I selected. I don't remember the numbers down here. That's where I got the orange from right there, right here. And I'm going to make the one I just did black. And this one is what I'm going to do all the edits on. And since we have already done the tennis ball, I'm going to duplicate this several times. Let's move this back. This looks a little too small, so let's just elongate it a little bit. Good, good. Make sure it's in the middle. Let's see, right there. Oh, there you go. Let's move this back just a bit, just like there. And then we are going to use the replicant tool, and we're just going to push down. And all I'm going to do is just figure out where I want it. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, now, is this in the middle? Just want to make sure. I keep going too quick. There. Okay, yeah, it's in the middle. Now, before I cut anything out, let's do the rest that we need on here. And we're going to go to the rectangle tool. And all I'm going to do is just grab a line and make it about the same width as the circle, roughly. Let's see here. That looks a little too thick. Let's make it a little thinner. That looks pretty good. Okay, and we're going to center this. Now, all I'm going to do is make this go to the left. Okay. And then I'm just going to scoot it back to its original. Let's go to center here. Alright. And by doing that, let's move this. Let's see, was it horizontally? Vertically? No. Oh, no, sorry. That's what I did. I went to Object, Rotate, 90 degrees. That's what I did. Alright, now that I'm looking at it, these need to be a little closer. So this is why I haven't done anything yet. I have to get just a smidge closer. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to select all the black shapes that I have here and weld them. And then I'm going to select everything and I'm going to cut them out by using subtract. And as you can see, it doesn't look like I did anything. Okay. I'm going to push this back and then put this to the middle. Ta-da! I could have made this a little smaller. I see that it looks still a little thick. That's fine. You can redo this any way you wish. Again, let's take away the lines here. That looks good. And just tilt it slightly. There you go. You got yourself a basketball. Alright. I don't need this one anymore. Alright. Did I group these together? I did. I'm noticing that there's a small little black line here and it's kind of bothering me. There. Now it's gone. I'm going to group this. Alright. In the very same way that we did the tennis ball right here. I should probably group this together. We're going to do the same thing over here. So let's grab ourselves a circle. Doesn't matter what size. We're going to turn this guy white. Oh, not the lines, not the lines. White. There we go. You can't see it very well, so it's probably best to put in the lines until the very end. There we go. I'm going to duplicate this. And of course, I'm going to not offset. What is this called? Internal offset. The inside of it. I'm going to do the inside of it. There we go. And I'm going to go with, let's say, red. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, let's duplicate this white one more time, just in case we mess up. And let's see. Let's make this become centered. That's good. I'm going to have this go straight down. And I'm just holding my shift key and taking my arrow key and going down. It's a little more. There we go. Okay. Now, I just want the inside of this to be cut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything. And I believe it's divide. Yes, it is. So what this does, it basically slices everything up. Kind of like a pizza slicer. It just cuts right through it. Right there, right there, right there, and right there. And as you can see, one's bigger than the other. Not a bad, not a bad start. So I like this side. See, which one would be better? Let's see. because this will line up perfectly with a little bit of finagling. There we go. No, I don't like this one. I'm going to go with this one right here. And just in case, I'm going to duplicate it. And that is going to be my backup if anything goes wrong. All right. Let's get a little closer. So this is what we're working with. Now, how do you get these little arrows when you don't really have an arrow shape? Well, what I did, I went to the rounded rectangle and I just chose a size. And if you've seen me in my other videos, this is how I do a lot of tires or heart shapes. So I'm going to turn this black so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to round it a little bit. That looks pretty good. And just to make sure it's stable, I'm going to convert. And I'm going to turn it red. And of course, you've seen me do heart shapes a lot using this method. But for right now, I'm going to be kind of making it more of an arrow. All right, let's see. Weld. That looks pretty good. And all I'm going to do is just let it follow this line. So what I'm going to do is just select it and then use the 3 down. Just move them over to where it needs to go. Now you may need to finagle this a little bit, not by much, just a little bit. And then let's do 3 more. Let's just twist this a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good, Okay, I'm gonna select everything and weld. You know what? It's not as prominent as I did it the last time. I made the circles a little too small. So let's just see if we can make these a little bigger. Do I like that? No, yeah, you know what? That doesn't look so bad. I may not get as many as I want, but that's fine. Let's just move this down just a tad, like that. And we're going to do it again. 3. And all I'm doing is just rotating it. Just a smidge, just a little bit. Okay, one more set. Yeah, I was able to get the same amount. I just made them a little fuller. Let's see. Can I get this guy in? Yeah, I can. Just move this up a little bit. Ta-da! Yes. Okay. Let's go weld. That looks a little better. A little more heart-shapey than I wanted to, but you can do however you want it. Make it a little bit more of a pill, and I think that's what I did for this one. I made it more of a pill shape, and this one came out more of a heart shape, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Again, this is your project. Make it look however you want. And by doing this, you are able to now make heart baseballs if you wanted to. Okay, we got one side. Let's go directly to the opposite side and flip. Okay, I see a little problem. These are too close together. Not a big deal. Let's just make this a little smaller. Not that it's gonna bother it in any way, in any bit. All right. Let's try that again. Left, flip, and then there we go. Yeah, a little bit more heart shapey. Not too bad, not too bad. Group. There we go. Yeah, I should have done it a little bit more like a pill. However, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, if you were going to be doing this for Valentine's Day, yeah, a Valentine's baseball is not a bad thing. So let's get rid of our lines. Ooh, it kind of blends in there, so let's ungroup it and make this a little darker. Not the line, the fill. There we go. You can see it a little bit better now. Group. Okay. Now you have your basketball, your tennis ball, your bowling ball, and now your baseball. This needs to be a little bit smaller. There you go. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.